and welcome to tonight's show. Um, we're here to do as they do in Festivus, kind of. We're going to have an airing of grievances, I suppose. That would be the best way to put it. We're going to discuss. I already see my guest. He's shaking his head in disapproval in the digital green room. He's not pleased at all on like numerous levels here. So let's be good friends and open our ears and listen intently on what the situation is, what is going on, what the problem is. Just to let you know, we are running a t-shirt contest right now. It's a giveaway. Answer the trivia question at the end of this show to win a free t-shirt. I'm going to play you the rules right now real quick, and then we'll bring out our guest. I'm going to be doing a live show every single day. I'm going to be giving away a t-shirt. At the end of every episode, I will ask my trivia question. You will send your answer to FrumessMAIL@gmail.com, and the first person to answer correctly will be the winner. You give me your name, your address, and your t-shirt size. If you are outside of the continental United States, you will have to cover shipping and handling. Join us night after night where I will be doing t-shirt giveaways. Who doesn't like a free t-shirt? I'm not going to go easy on any of you. I'm going to ask really hard questions. So be prepared. All right. So our special guest, he doesn't realize this. He's going to think of a trivia question. He'll come up with the trivia question at the end of the show. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce an old friend. We go way back. I used to live in Chicago. He used to live in Chicago. We used to have such fun times together, and he's always been, we don't speak on a regular basis, but he's always been a good friend. And whenever we do speak, it's always wonderful. And, this has kind of been a long time since even before I started podcasting, when I was going live, just on Facebook, because it was like pandemic times. I was bored. Like, Louie, he dropped in, a couple of times into the stream and whatnot, and it never materialized into having him on the show until now, but he's very familiar with all this stuff. So I am really, really stoked, truly stoked to have my friend Louie Carr join us as we talk about the backstabbers known as Ticketmaster. Hi, Louie.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm fine,
Yeah.
Chill, totally relaxed.
Yeah.
My
That's
mood
good.
is calm.
Yeah, you see, okay. I see what I'm picking up what you're putting down here. Can I ask a question? How's the weather down in where you are? Is everything hot?
It's extremely hot. We haven't seen rain in like 2 months. It's been over 100 for like 3 months.
Do you have grass?
No, I don't.
That's a good thing.
It's it's no point.
Grass is psychotic, by the way. The concept of what grass is, I mean, that's another topic for another day, but grass is a fascist notion. It's a psychotic fascist notion, and it's insane that we have grass, but we're not talking about that tonight.
We're not. We're talking about, so I pulled up YouTube, and do you know what the ad was?
What?
Live Nation.
Oh,
isn't that funny?
They got
is a subsidiary of Live Nation. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not mad about it because it's like being mad at like a giant, I don't know. I'm mad about it, but it's not like shocking, there's nothing. This is day to day. I mean, it's not too different from your industry. It's not too different from the movie industry. It's every entertainment industry, unregulated, is always going to default to like predatory behaviors because
greed, capitalism.
Right. We participate. Well, the music industry was governed for so long by the distribution of the music. There was a very limited way that you could distribute any of it. Go back 100 years, from 100 years ago to now. Radio, vinyl, Wasn't much ways you could get music out there for people to just hear it. You know, live shows were kind of the big it. I mean, it's not too different now. You know, I'd say that's the like probably if you're talking about,
well, live shows are still a commodity for musicians at this point in time.
big commodity, because theoretically it should be the most direct financial route between fan and artist. You should be able to sell merch directly to your customer. You should be able to sell the music directly to your customer. You should be able to take in all of those funds. But as we've seen over the pandemic, over the pandemic, a lot of the issues have been amplified because we had Live Nation getting huge infusions of cash from foreign entities, using that cash to hoover up independent venues across the country, which I love it. Buy more, stretch yourself thin more, because it's fucking hard to run a venue. It's hard to be profitable. And these people are going to find out the same way that Zillow found out. You can't just buy a venue and be successful. You can't just buy a venue and...
You mean like Elon Musk and Twitter?
Well, yeah, that was dumb from the jump. But all these big corporations like BlackRock and, even, everyone's favorite billionaire grandfather, Warren Buffett, they're all pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And they've got this hubris that if they dump enough cash into something, it'll become profitable. They'll be able to exploit it. And in a lot of cases, they're right. But in art and entertainment, it's a lot more difficult than that. And anyway, over the pandemic, you had all of these independent clubs going Live Nation. And it's essentially created, especially for cities not like Austin or Los Angeles or New York, or some of the larger or even mid-tier cities that still have live music venues outside of them. Like House of Blues. Any House of Blues now is Live Nation, and it has been for a while. But I mean, my point is, like, it's essentially put a chokehold on where a lot of musicians theoretically could play. But that's the idea, right? You control everything. You control the fan experience, you control the artist experience, and you profit off of them at every step of the way. But here's the thing. Like, for the artist I manage, it's different. It varies. I manage 3 artists, Jackie Venson, Clue and the Electric Joint, and Aaron Stevens. And they're all at different various stages of their careers because, music isn't formulaic. There are certain tried and true best practices, but it's individualized to each artist. And it's really individualized to each venue, too. You take, for example, a musician out of a small Live Nation club, and you've just got a shitty bar with overpriced beer. You take the musician out of those clubs, you still have a musician. You still have a music. So being able to throttle the industry, it's just not possible. Not in the way that I think they want it to be. And that's partly because of what I just explained, and partly because we live in a time where you can't throttle the distribution of the music anymore. For example, Jackie was the number 10 live streamer in all of 2020, according to Polestar. And it's probably more like American numbers, but there were nights where we were getting 15, 20,000 people watching live on Reddit, and 500, 800, 1,000 on TikTok.
Yeah, I mean the industry, the industry has been somewhat the means of what am I trying to say here? It's been democratized. Everything's been democratized in the same way, and yes, it's from the same perspective as making movies and films and stuff. And really, at the end of the day, what it is, it's democratization of technology that allows anybody who's able to cultivate and capture an audience to use tools ranging from things that are free to things that you pay a subscription for, and have complete artistic, independent, entrepreneurial autonomy over what it is that they are doing.
So I think to bring it back to Ticketmaster, I think we've reached the stage where they're kind of anything's on the table. I think that they know, like Consequence of Sound, which is probably one of my favorite music news outlets. They did an article about 3 weeks ago, talking about how Live Nation and Ticketmaster are heading towards the antitrust suit from the DOJ. That's nothing new for our government. They broke up Bell South. They break up large, profitable companies all the time because at the end of the day, it's only profitable and beneficial for a very few amount of people, and it noticeably hurts a lot more. And in this case, even with the expansion of technology, even with the diversification of revenue streams for artists, touring is still an integral part. Not every artist is like Jackie. Not every artist is, able to put on live streams, able to diversify in that way. They should be able to make a strong, profitable living off of their unique work and talent in person. So
yeah,
you've got a situation where, if I had to guess it, if we have a DOJ that's worth a shit, you're going to see Ticketmaster and Live Nation become separate entities. I mean, honestly, they could be broken up into several entities where they're regionally broken up.
well, we have the state. This is what's literally happening right now between SAG and the WGA, where they're at we're at this insane crossroads where AI, along with a few other things, AI and streaming, really, they're two separate issues that are both happening at the same time, where you have these insane mega monopolies, kind of similar to what Ticketmaster and Live Nation have done, where they've become the only business game in town, and they own all means of production and distribution, and therefore, because there's no competition, they can basically do whatever the fuck they want. And I remember when there was a class action lawsuit against Ticketmaster about 2009, 2010, I want to say, and there was a settlement. I didn't even know I was a part of it. There was a settlement where I was offered free tickets to a list of events, but the hoops that they made you jump through.
They're doing it right now, Jeff.
That's the same thing.
They have summer ticket contests and giveaways, and they're doing all of these things.
Yeah, those are ticket contests where you're in competition. I'm talking about
it's not a contest. It's a discounted summer of tickets, which is insane, because you're essentially taking the profit out of the artist to make yourself look better. But anyway, let me bring it back because you make a good point. With Ticketmaster, there's no end to this, but being broken up. With Live Nation, there's no possible other outcome because they've got their hands just right on the throat of the industry, at least on the section that they control. So I think what's happening right now is they're trying to get everything they can in from a profit standpoint. Like that receipt I posted where it showed a facility fee and a service fee. That's blatant. That's blatant predatory behavior.
It's just double dipping for no reason.
That they wouldn't have wanted the bad press for.
They literally can just make shit up.
But they've been going through the ringer with the press for 2-3 years straight now. So I think at this point they're like, fuck it. If we're going to get beat over the head anyway for the dirty practices that we're already doing, might as well push the envelope. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with all these extra fees. I
don't even really buy. Here's the thing. I can't remember the last time I bought, there are a few other services. There's like Ticket Web. There's like a couple of things, brown paper tickets.
I guarantee you brown paper is a subsidiary of one of them. That's what happens. And here's the other thing. Here's the thing that people don't understand about venues. Even if, do you know how like a venue, for example, gets like brown paper bag or someone like that to be the ticketing service? Brown paper bag goes to them and basically says, here's $100,000. We want to be your exclusive ticket provider for the next however many years. That's it. Isn't that fucked up?
I mean, yeah, all of it's fucked up, but you know,
they go to an independent venue and they drop a shit ton of cash in their lap, a successful independent venue.
Yeah.
And then like any sort of VC, they strip mine it. They get the most they can out of it. And by the end of it, the people that pay the most are the artists and the fans.
You know, I think that a great sort of case study of what, you know, I hope could and would happen is you really got to look at the record companies in the 90s. And from, you know, I don't know when you would want to start this sort of case study, but like, let's just pick a year. Let's start with like 1994 through 2005, just that decade alone, where CDs, no, let's actually take it back a little further. Let's make it to the year 2000, where CDs could cost as much as $18.99 for like 12 songs. Yep. And generally speaking, because it was still a single oriented business, it is again today, but in a different way for different reasons. But like basically singles had sort of gone out of fashion in the late 90s, despite still being popular on MTV and the radio and stuff. And instead of buying singles, people were buying the whole album. Mm-hmm. They were buying the whole album for one, maybe two songs. And generally, not always, but so many times, especially with some of those one-hit wonders where the album was just weak. In the 80s, the one-hit wonder would have a single, a 7-inch, whatever, and would do crazy sales on the single. And maybe the album sales would be significantly less. It's like the record industry realized, let's not emphasize singles. We're not going to put out single, you know, we remember the single CDs, the CD singles on the CD cassettes. It's like, let's not emphasize those anymore. Let's instead focus on pushing the whole album, which again, $15.99, $16.99.
There's a word you used in there that is just insane if you think about it. One hit wonder. Let me pull the curtain.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish my point before you get there. Let me just finish my point, and then we'll go back to that. To finish my initial point, what I'm trying to say is, and how it relates to Ticketmaster, is the notion that eventually what happened was technology caught up to the record industry. Like a great example of this, side note, great example of this was, remember compilations? You'd see the commercials, you know, soft rock. Now that's what I call music. Mm-hmm. Why did those compilations exist in the first place? Because everybody wanted all of the hit songs to be on one consolidated disc. Why? Because if you wanted a CD, not a tape, if you wanted a CD with all your favorite songs, you had to get it professionally distributed by the company. CD burners for your home did not exist. The technology did not exist. Napster did not exist. The moment that Napster came into view,
you had people burn, you had mixtapes.
You had mixtapes, but I'm talking about CD. That the compilation business was a booming business because what it was doing was commercially consolidating all of these songs into one disc for you. It was like basically a professional industry around, you know,
right, but it was all under the same rights holders. Everyone on that CD had the same publishing company and record label. I guarantee it.
But there was a market. Sure, but there was a market. But there was a market. There was a consumer market that was like, I like this general genre of like soft rock. I like Air Supply and whatever, blah, 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 blah. At like the supermarket music that you'd hear. Like, I like this general genre. Here's a CD that has all of the hits and I can listen to this. And then what happened? Those died out because all of a sudden I can now rip and burn my own CDs. I don't have to do mixtapes anymore. I could do an actual CD, because a mixtape is a very sort of like, it's like a craft. It's like a home craft sort of thing. It's like, here's a professional CD that I burned in my bedroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with Napster. Napster comes along, streaming comes along. All of a sudden, the karma of those record companies is they're wrought with karma. Basically, they price gouged the consumer market, and the
But only
response
for a
was
short period of time, because then all of
because
those
they got greedy.
It was only like 5 years that the record companies were hurting. Maybe not even that, because as soon as
They
Apple,
restructured, but it was never the same, Lou, and they were never making the money that they were.
oh, you need to look up the numbers, my friend. You
I
need to look
mean,
up the numbers. It's never been more profitable to be in the music industry. It is multi-billion-dollar industry now, making
I mean,
more
of course
money.
it's yeah,
No, it's making more money than it ever has. Ever has.
yeah, but I'm talking specifically from CD sales. I'm talking about,
But it's still the music. You're talking about the distribution of music. The
right.
physical entity of it doesn't matter. The actual music itself is more profitable than it's ever been, and it's been throttled. That's so. Getting back to what I was trying to say.
Wait, let me finish. I have to finish my point.
Motherfucker, you
I
finished.
have to finish my
You've been on
point.
this fucking point for 20 minutes.
Yes, he won't let me finish. So here's the final point. The final point is to bring it back to Ticketmaster. Something is going to come along that is like Napster and is going to fuck Live Nation Ticketmaster up the coast without any lube.
It already has. You can't pen in musicians. You can't prevent house concerts and garage shows and parking lot shows and park shows and festivals and like weird warehouse shows. Like you can never stop those. In the same way they couldn't stop mixtapes, in the same way they couldn't stop.
Right, but that's not the market share. That's not the big picture market share, the way that like that's not the big
But it's a different game. It's a different game. It's not the game that I play. My full-time job is in the music industry, but my lane isn't anywhere close to Lizzo and Taylor Swift and Beyonce. They have whole infrastructures set up that don't affect us. Like this Ticketmaster.
No, I know. I'm just saying in general, though. I'm saying in general, something is going to come along and fuck Ticketmaster in the worst way, where what they're doing right now and the way that they operate and the way that they control will be taken away from them for good. And those service fees will be
the Justice Department's going to break them up into, I'm assuming, regional ticket and promotion companies. That's my guess. But it doesn't matter. They could literally, right now, people don't understand, like, city governments put on shows. Local promoters put on shows. Like, there are so many entities that have the financing, have the space, have the gear. Even outside of cities like Austin, I'm talking to this guy who's setting up a music grant and event system in Davis, California, which is like outside of Sacramento. It's where UC Davis is. It's a college town, but they've got a downtown. They've got a cool scene, and they're going to have live shows. Ticketmaster has nothing to do with it. Like, that's my point. Like, they can't bottle ambition. So like the DOJ can break up Ticketmaster, and they probably will. And Ticketmaster can think that they've got the stranglehold because they have these venues, they have these plots of land, but it's like real estate and VC holders having lots of business and office suites. Like, if nobody wants to go to it, it's just hollow, empty, shitty lots. And that's to me what Ticketmaster is staring down the barrel of. Like, you look at like Erykah Badu. Did you see that video of Erykah Badu, like, what is it, a week ago?
Nope.
On stage, she's on a big arena tour. And on stage, she said, she's happy to be there, but she's losing money. They didn't sell enough tickets to justify the show. And I think a lot of that has to do with people don't want to pay these fees, right? Like, imagine you've got a choice between paying $200 and then $100 in fees, plus parking, plus overpriced food, right? And then you have $20, $6 of fees, $3, $3 to $20 of parking. Let's say it's like valet situation. You haven't reached the cost of the first ticket for the elite headliner, but somebody like Jackie, you know, less than $80, you've got a show that's going to light you on fire. And now with the internet being the way it is, someone like Jackie can show that. You know what I mean? That was always the kind of the hard part with technology. Even like when I got into managing like 10 years ago, almost, part of the issue was being able to really showcase that you should show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cell phones weren't shit. You know, you really needed camera equipment. You needed audio equipment. You needed like financial investment, basically. Now there's equipment like we just bought a 360 camera.
Yeah, those are cool.
They're
Are
amazing.
you what is your I remember when the pandemic first started and I was following a little bit and I saw that you guys are going live a lot.
Hey, hold
Do
on.
you
My buddy from Facebook, from Ketchikan, Alaska, said, "Hey, what up, Matt? That's awesome. Southeast Alaska. It's amazing. You've never seen salmon bigger.
Oh, I like salmon.
Oh my god, amazing! And it's the halibut. It's amazing. Sorry. Also, hello everyone else in the chat. I didn't mean to single anyone out. Ticketmaster, Ticket Mistress. That's great.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
Kevin.
think that it's not. You can't pin down something that it's not pin downable. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're digging themselves a hole they'll never be able to come out of, is basically what I'm saying. Like, you can't throttle, like, we're in a worse space, I would say, digitally as a music scene than we are in the touring scene. Because you have Apple, you have Spotify, you have Tidal, you have Amazon Music, you know, but you don't really have it's just now getting to the point where it's more democratized in that area.
Wait, you know Matt John? Is that who you were saying?
No, Matt Hamilton.
Oh, Matt Hamilton. I can't see. Oh, Matt Hamilton. Yeah, got it. Okay. I was confused there for a bit.
But you don't have it's just like places like Bandcamp, which just got bought up by a giant company, so that sucks. But there aren't a lot of independent digital sales places, you know what I mean?
Right.
That are fair. Like Apple's cut is like 30%.
It's always been 30%.
Right.
Since the beginning.
That's terrible. What am
Since
I paying
iTunes.
30%? You're not paying 30% of the cost to record, mix, and master this
No,
shit.
it's 30% to be in the marketplace, to be under their infrastructure. That's the way it's been. It's been the same. There's so many places. There are so many places that are like that. But what's interesting about Spotify, and again, you know, Spotify gets demonized by a lot of musicians. A lot of musicians, it's a very tender subject, not happy with Spotify and the way that they conduct their business. And while I do 100% think that artists should, first of all, I mean, the royalty rates need to be higher for artists on Spotify. But I think a lot of artists like focus on the wrong aspect of the problem. And, you know, going back to talk about how like it's a multi-billion-dollar industry today, the way that the record companies have survived in part is that they are still reaping in, they're still middlemanning between Spotify and the artists.
Yeah,
they
but
still
they also owned controlling interest for a while in Spotify. Like
right.
Huge major labels, and they're also hoovering up the same way Ticketmaster was and / Live Nation were hoovering up independent venues. And you've seen it in the news. Some haven't made big news, but a ton of legacy artists are selling their catalogs. Like Lil Wayne sold his catalog, which included Minaj tracks, included early break tracks.
Bob Dylan, Neil Young, all these guys are cashing out their royalty against their future
all
royalties.
of that Spotify money that they generate, all those millions of streams, that's all going back now to who just bought the catalogs. And it reminds me to bring it back to Chicago, it reminds me, and this is, you know what's funny? TikTok, somebody made a TikTok about this recently, just like bringing it up. But do you remember when we were living there and Mayor Daley sold the parking meter rights for $1 billion? Do you remember that?
I don't. I was not
So it was
following
like
that, but that's pretty fucked up.
2000. It was like his last. It was his last term.
Yeah.
People don't know that Mayor Daley was like royalty, not in a good way. Like the son of a long.
How about legacy, not royalty? He was like a legacy.
Let's call it royalty. Let's call
Oh
it
yeah, okay. Actually, yeah, royalty. Fine.
anointed people that didn't do anything to get there and held the seat for
Right.
way
Yeah,
longer than they should have.
That is royalty. That is royalty. Yeah.
For like 100 years. 100-year lease for $1 billion for a city as big as Chicago. Their parking meters. These motherfuckers got their money back, and I want to say it was like 3 or 4 years. And
it's crazy.
Here we are 10 years after that, another 80 years to go, and Chicago gets nothing. And that to me feels like when these artists like Lil Wayne, all the way up to over to Bob Dylan, it feels like that exact same scenario. Like you're getting $200 million now, but hip hop is one of the biggest genres of music. That's not ever changing. Lil Wayne has made hits for decades at this point. That's an heirloom. That's something.
I do agree. The one counter, like for instance, I think I'm trying to remember who sold their stuff for 300 million recently. It was somebody. I'm trying to remember a big name.
I know Sting sold his shit.
All right, let's use the number 300 million because I remember reading that, but I don't remember who the artist was. Let's say it was Sting for 300 million, and let's divide 300 million by. It was Sting. Okay, so let's divide 300 million by 30 years. And again, I don't want to speak ill for Sting, but like I mean, how long is Sting gonna last? Is Sting gonna last another 30 years?
I think so. My issue though isn't that these people are giving up their individual wealth. It's more so it's consolidating all of these resources under one umbrella. So all of the music that's getting placed in TV and film and advertisement and all of the music that's getting placed on all of these playlists by these streaming companies, it's not independent artists, it's not up and coming artists, it's not artists that are even signed to mid majors, it's artists that are signed to venture capitalist funds. It's consolidating power under one umbrella that's so formidable. It's like, okay, you win.
I mean, the only other option, if you don't find your way into that system, the only other option is to be an independent artist with an entrepreneurial spirit who has both the following or has a an audience and has a knowledge and ability to wield the democratized technology to earn a living. And
let me give you some inside baseball on that, because that's you're describing me.
Yeah.
The best thing about being an independent in the independent scene is all of these large entities are cruise ships. They turn, and it's 6 months after they probably should have. Whereas us, we're speedboats. We're in and out of trends and able to pounce on things at a turn. It's what's kept us profitable. It's what's kept us ahead of the game. Like with the streaming shit, Jackie was on it in 2017. She was live streaming. She got a Mevo. I think it still exists, but like the personal, one of the first personal streaming cameras.
I remember those.
She set that up at Rockwood in New York, or at Rockwood Music Hall. I think it's on the Lower East Side. But that gave us an edge. Because of that, because of us, it basically gives us the opportunity to try out and be a part of the wave on a lot of things, right?
Right.
So because we were on that wave, it led 3 years later to, in the pandemic, we didn't have to learn. She didn't have to get comfortable. like performing a full set to an empty room or to me, you know. And because we got that edge, you know, it spirals into so many opportunities, and that's stuff you don't have with record labels. You don't have with larger. You've got these formulaic things that you can feel lack soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, which brings me back to what I was saying before. So are you guys where are you right now with the live stream shows? Are you doing it? How are you able to were you were monetizing it during the pandemic, or what is
still
it,
are.
you going through like Facebook, or like what exactly is your process?
So we do live streams now. We did a marathon. We used Restream.
Yeah, I hate it, but
Yeah,
yes,
it sucks, but
it
it's great
sucks.
for pre-recorded footage. So for
Okay.
the end of the spring, early summer, we took like 40 straight days of those live streams that we did in 2020 and rebroadcast them. And Jackie hung out in the chat and talked to people and rewatched these live streams from like a pretty crazy period of time, you know? But originally, okay, so to get to the revenue, Facebook doesn't really have an original idea. You know, they just sort of from everyone else.
Yeah.
Their system is pretty much exactly like YouTube. You got pre-roll, mid-roll. You can sort of adjust when they want to go in. We only do like 1 or 2 5-second videos before and nothing in, because once you're in it, you don't really want to be pulled out of it. You know what I mean? And their pay rates are pretty similar to YouTube.
Who, Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Don't they do like a star system? I have it, but I've never really
That's
made
separate.
any money with it. Oh, that's separate.
So we actually had to get we had to adjust our finances on that. I had to adjust the payout on it recently because they weren't really giving us a ton of money, and I was like, we're getting way more views than this. I fixed it, and a very large sum finally came through from like the back pay of ad revenue. But yeah, it's 2 separate systems. Their little star system, and then the ad roll. Like I said,
Right.
YouTube.
Right. The ad roll system. Correct.
Um, and that's been great. You know, that's so essentially you lay it out financially pre-pandemic, right? That's the line of demarcation for me, and I think for a lot of artists and artist managers, is in the independent realm. Um, a lot of revenue came from shows. Majority of financial revenue came from shows, uh, with a smattering of live streaming revenue or streaming revenue, like from Spotify and stuff. Um, some online merch sales. You know what I mean? Just like not enough to pay the bills, but a part of the pie. The pandemic hits, so you lose 3/4 of your pie, and it really forced for us. It forced us to do something that we should have been doing. And I kind of knew it, and we knew it, but when you're in that hamster wheel of got to book shows, got to get shows, you know, it's hard to break out of that wheel to take the time it takes to set up an internet ecosystem, which is essentially what you're doing. But the pandemic, we all had nothing but time. So we went from like a merch sale. I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't even know if it reached 5 figures in like 4 years online for Jack
Mm.
cumulative, you know, like less than 10 grand to 6 figures since then. In merch sales, you know. And it's funny. I didn't even know we were doing it, but we were doing a lot of the things that like major labels. We essentially created a Jackie Benson label. And that's what we're calling it, by the way. Jackie Benson record label.
Generic.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. But the idea was that we kept diversifying our merch. So we wouldn't do large batches of single t-shirts. We would do cool t-shirts that changed. The designs changed. She would release more music more frequently, revisit music. You know, music, because the technology doesn't become linear. It's more like movie and TV where you can reboot things, reimagine singular bodies of work that came before. You know what I mean? And I don't just mean remixes. I mean like you've played the music for 5 years together and the live sound is so much different than what was originally recorded in the studio. It's not a great representation of that song. You know what I mean? So we were releasing music in full albums. We still are. And then almost every quarter. Now it's twice a year for new albums. But it was new content. It was diversifying the revenue stream. So we had online merch, streaming revenue, video streaming revenue, which I would say is probably our biggest along with merch, our biggest growth markets. And then now we're back in touring. So whereas the pie was one color takes up 3/4 of it and then the rest, it is a rainbow now. And I think that is one of the biggest threats to Ticketmaster outside of this DOJ suit. Like independent artists were forced during the pandemic to diversify the revenue streams. We're not unique in this. And the less you have to rely on touring, the less you're more likely to take deals at Ticketmaster, Live Nation clubs that don't give you fair deals.
Well, you also have to deal with I mean, you also, if you're depending on the venue, the venues are also trying to take like a merch cut.
I was literally just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all fucked up.
Now on the merch side, Jackie, she just did a big manifesto about this.
What about merch cuts from
yeah. She wrote a big manifesto about this because if you we were dealing with a club recently where they were taking 30%, which is insane.
There should be a trade-off. If you take 30% of our merch, then we should get 30% of your fucking liquor sales. Fuck you.
But they never do. They never do that. Here's
fuck you.
I didn't even get to the most audacious part of it. We brought the merch. We paid for the manufacturing and design of the merch, right?
Yeah.
We bring it. We pay for transportation because you got to pay for the bag fees of that merch. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
We brought our own seller. So what are you providing? We spent all of the marketing or the lion's share of the marketing getting people to this show. So what the fuck are you bringing outside of a roof? Nothing.
A roof. That's it.
You should be paying us.
It's true. It's true. And speaking of marketing and all that stuff, it could be really, really, really sticky. It's a sticky situation. And you know what else is sticky? Stickers. And the official sponsor of this channel is Riot Stickers. And if you are a band, if you're in a band or if you make movies and you're at a festival, you're going to need to put your logos and your imagery on a surface that could be stuck places where people will discover it. And you're not going to find a better deal than right here at the Frumess channel, where you can get 1,000 stickers for $79. You go to riotstickers.com/Frumess. Link is in the description. We look at all the stuff they print. They even print stuff like banners. Sharpie Riot, CEO of Riot Stickers, printed up this wonderful banner for us. And like I said, you're not going to find a better deal. These stickers are 7 cents a sticker, 1,000 stickers. Okay. They have printed on vinyl, which makes them waterproof. They have a UV coating to protect from the sun, guaranteed to last a minimum of 5 years outdoors in the elements. You can't go wrong with riotstickers.com. So check out the deal today. Get 1,000 stickers for $79 and do what you need to do. Let's play the quick Less Than Jake theme song from the guy from Less Than Jake for riotstickers.com.
Posters and promo cards, there's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads, we can print on shirts, we can print on hats, we can print on pants. Cheap prices and high quality,
now you know where to go. Riotstickers.com. Yeah, Riot Stickers has been the sponsor of our channel for close to 2 years now. We love Riot Stickers. Yeah, it gets stuck in everybody's. In fact, recently the Genre Blast Film Festival. I'm sorry?
Do I get stickers for being on this?
If you order them from riotstickers.com,
go to
riotstickers.com/Frumess for the best deal ever.
7 cents a piece. Wow, look at that.
7 cents a piece. You can't go wrong. 1,000 stickers. Let me tell you something.
Waterproof.
It is easy to stick those stickers places. He sent me a box of those stickers, man. I stick them everywhere.
Listen, we're talking legacy. They're made of vinyl. They're going to live forever. Well past when your body turns to dust. Wow. You put that sticker on something, you get your own sticker, you put it on a pole. Wow. It'll outlive you. Wow.
Do you know who that is? Do you recognize that face?
That's
me, motherfucker.
I mean, you've used that logo forever since the Gallon Challenge.
I know, but I had never used that logo. Oh, are we going to talk? Can we talk about the Gallon Challenge, or is that?
I mean,
I don't know.
It's pretty funny.
It's a funny story. I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up, but you referenced it, so
wow, I did. Well, I mean, what's the story?
It's not a story. It's just that Louie and I used to do silly things back in the day, and
like 15 years ago.
Yeah, like one time, him and our friend Doug came over to my house, and we walked over to 7-Eleven, and I had my little video camera, and we decided to do that Gallon Challenge. And Louie convinced, I don't know if you convinced us, you sold us. How about that? You sold us on doing whole milk because you decided to do whole milk.
No, I did chocolate milk.
Yeah, but it was chocolate whole milk.
Right. But I don't know that.
Oh, no, I didn't do whole milk. I did 2% actually.
Yeah. And you lasted like 2-3 glasses.
That's not true. I got through like half of it.
The tape is still there.
It is still there.
I think I got through like 3/4 of it. I mean, Doug got through all the way, but he was dying. That's probably the funniest.
He made it to the end. He made it to the end, and he
made it so long that it turned to cottage cheese in his stomach.
It did, and I'll never forget what you said to him. You said, "The power of Christ compels you."
It was projectile.
It was projectile vomit. It was beautiful, also, man.
We were on the side of the road in like a Chicago neighborhood where people were like, it was like a busy time of day. People were driving by.
It was right off of
you don't make Chicago like that anymore.
Yeah, no, that was a long time ago.
I don't even think that 7-Eleven still exists.
Probably not, but that footage does, and I'm so grateful. You can't see it anywhere. It's private now.
What?
Should I make it public? No, I kept it private.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's hilarious.
All right. And you know what the best part was? I used the music from Dawn of the Dead.
You did. It was amazing. Yeah, and we met those weird girls. And then we got chased off by the guy because he was rightfully like weirded out.
Yeah, I mean, we were like sketchily. We were sketchily.
I actually saw Danzig that year. Isn't that funny?
Did you really?
Yeah, me and Jack, my old roommate Jack, we went and saw Danzig at
Congress.
It was at the Aragon Ballroom. It was like 2009, 2010.
Great venue for Danzig.
He is so weird, man. I guarantee he hasn't changed. Before every song, he would have this long rambling monologue, and then like out of nowhere, the music would start. So he'd be like, "You ever walk through a graveyard and you just really like feel like you saw your dad?" And then it would just like.
That's Uncle Glenn for you.
It was weird. It was weird.
Hold on, I'm looking for the Gallon Challenge right now. I'm looking it up. I'm pretty sure that it's unlisted.
Wow.
It was that was special. That was a special and you remember the Back to the Future party that you guys threw?
Yes, the party that was at my house. Yes, I do.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, we used to throw themed parties all the time. Our parties were epic.
I was back in town for that one, and you know what I remember so fondly about that party was that the week before I was, or maybe it was a few days before, I was in a supermarket where I saw a giant hamburger cake. It was cake that was shaped like a hamburger, and I was like, "Fuck, I need that cake in my life." And I walked off, and I was just like, "Whatever." And then sure enough, we get to your house and you had that's the cake that you had picked up. And I was like, I'm in the right place. Like this is special that was there. And then everybody carved up pumpkins with machetes. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to break our old roommate's shit in the alley because he like moved out and didn't pay like $400 for utilities that he owed. And then he never came and got his shit, so we just broke it in the alley.
Did I know this roommate or was this
Ryan? Yeah. He goes by Vance now, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I think I know that guy. Does he have blonde hair? He had blonde hair?
No, he had like balding brown hair.
All right, then I don't
think I knew him. Like everyone we knew except for us back then was trying to do like Chicago improv. Remember that?
Ryan. I know exactly who you are talking about. I remember him. And he had like a messenger bag, right?
Yeah, I mean everybody did back then, right?
Yeah, but he had a messenger bag. I remember. Yeah, I remember that guy. No, I totally remember him now.
Dude, the
kind of tall, kind of gangly.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that guy.
He was weird.
I could picture his face.
Man, it's crazy. Time flies, you know. You just blink and you're like an elder millennial, you know? Like
fucking weird, man.
You have multiple children.
Me? I do have multiple children.
That's is weird. True. You're like a child bride.
Anytime any of my nothing friends, like a child bride, but
anytime my friends have kids, I'm like, babies having babies.
Yeah, it's a weird fucking thing.
You know, it doesn't feel like we're adults.
Yeah, that is absolutely the feeling too when you have kids. I mean, Lou, should I just like play this video right now because I can? Should I just do a no?
Put it in the.
All right, I'll send it to you, and you can watch it privately.
No, you can put it in the comments, but these people get subjected to that right now.
All right, this is an unlinked video. You guys, this is unlisted. What you're seeing. If you want to see me when I wave,
I really feel like you would have thrived. Like 2009, Jeff would have thrived on 2023 TikTok.
Absolutely. I was doing TikTok before TikTok was TikTok.
Like this video, if you would split it up into like 3 parts, oof, that would have been
actually TikTok. I probably could put this video on TikTok now. I might as well. Like, why not? I have a TikTok. I do use it.
Yeah,
I do TikTok. I mean, why not?
My only concern is if it hits Doug's FYP.
Why? Oh, you think Doug would not enjoy that? Yeah.
I don't know.
I could check with Doug. I'll check with Doug before I do it. Check. When was the last time you talked to Doug? How you talked to Doug?
15 long time years ago. I was just talking to Jandik last night, Chris Jandik.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Of course.
He and I
he lives in Arizona now, right?
Uh-huh. Me, him, and Danielle and a few other people, we play Fortnite. Like I'm gonna probably play with him after we get off here.
Tell him I say hello.
I will.
Tell him
he saw Doug. We were just talking about Doug because he saw him not too long ago. But yeah, I haven't talked. I mean, shit, 12 years.
I've spoken to him several times over the years. I have. I haven't spoken to him, and I probably haven't spoken to him about 10 years, but I spoke to him a couple times.
Oh, hopefully he's doing all right. You know, but
you know what? The last time I spoke to him, he was doing great. He's doing fantastic.
That's what Jandik said too. So maybe he would find this video funny because it is very funny.
It's an amazing video, and you know, again, like that Dawn of the Dead music, the Goblin score, where it's like the dun,
yeah,
and it's just us guzzling milk. You can see it right now if you want to see Baby Frumess. That the link is in the live chat. Baby, all of us, yes. But yeah, that was a different time when I still wore that leather jacket every single day.
And you were friends with Rusty.
Yeah, I still talk to Rusty.
I haven't forgotten.
Okay. You're gonna have to fill me in on that one, but
that man gave us bed bugs. He slept one night on our couch and gave
fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really crazy.
Listen to me. I didn't bow to those bed bugs. Neither did Danielle or Jack. You know how everybody throws out all of their furniture? We paid $800 for the exterminator, and I'm like, we paid $800. Listen, we're not getting. We're like 22. What are we gonna buy
Yeah.
furniture? I remember I tried to call the insurance companies because we had rented insurance, and I was like, would you cover me throwing out all of our shit? And they were like, no. And I was like, well, then I guess we're not throwing out all of our shit.
Yeah, I didn't know that had happened though. That's fucking crazy.
We had it was one of our parties, and he wanted to crash on the couch, and we were like, all right. And then fucking a week later, everybody had bed bugs in their room. Jack had it the worst.
So it's slightly my fault. Like
Eh.
a little bit. Little my fault.
Jack, you probably, if you owe anyone an apology, it's probably Jack, because he was tormented for a long time. We also used to
can you just tell him I'm sorry if
No.
you speak to him? Why can't you do my dirty work for me? Just tell him.
We had this running gag where if any of us got up, like either me or Danielle got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, because we had a 3-bedroom kind of like shotgun style, the typical Chicago walk.
I remember.
Well, I mean, no
townhouse
has ever been, but basically
they lived in a Chicago townhouse and they were elevated. I think they were on a 2nd or 3rd floor, maybe.
Well, yeah, right? There was like the basement. We were like the 1st floor, and then there was a 2nd floor. The landlord lived above us. She was like a 48-year-old divorcee. Like 4 feet tall. Her name was Diane. We used to literally like put our hands to the ceiling and go, Diane!
Oh, shit.
But anyway, so we had this running gag while Jack lived with us where we convinced him that he was haunted, like that the apartment was haunted. So like anytime that any of us got up to go to the bathroom, like at 2, 3 in the morning, we would like push his door open or like tap on the wall or like outside of his room. Oh, it was great. We never told him.
Man, those were what crazy times. I truly 100% did not know that had happened to you guys. And I'm kind of surprised that you never told me about it.
You probably just blocked it out.
What I mean, what year was that? That had to have been 2009, 2000. Okay. So maybe it was, could it have been, because I left in 2009. So if it happened in 2010, I mean,
it was one of our house parties. Yeah.
I wonder if I was even there.
Jack was sleeping on a military cot too.
Oh my God. I used to sleep on a couch. I slept on a couch pretty much the entire time I lived in Chicago, and I loved it. It was very comfortable, and I slept very well. What was your old roommate's name? Roland.
Yeah, Roland. You talk to
Roland.
that guy?
I still talk to Roland. We don't talk. We talk on occasion. We talk, once in a blue moon. But when we talk for like 3 hours, and he's like a big brother.
Cool.
Roland was the best. Chef? Is the best. What?
Was he like a chef?
No. He went to Columbia, and he was like in like media marketing or something.
Wait, hold on. We're just holding these people hostage.
No, we're not. There's 13 people watching us right now.
We're just like, oh, listen to
We're reminiscing. This is what the show is. This is the show. What we were talking about before was interesting, but it's like, it's too technical jargon. This is just personal discussion. Can I tell you why I think Grass is psychotic now? Can I tell you why I think Grass is psychotic, in all honesty? Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's why Grass is psychotic. I can't take credit for this. I did not make this up. This is something that I saw, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes.
So, the idea that you are basically like conforming like a bunch of different georegions to have this, homogenized fucking plant that doesn't like provide any like kind of service for anybody. It doesn't help animals, really. Like the animals that live in those areas, like squirrels don't give a shit about grass. What does a squirrel want with grass? Can't even wipe its ass with grass.
Yeah, grass is very much a boomer thing.
It's such a fucking boomer thing. It's like rabbits. Okay, maybe rabbits kind of like grass, but like, birds don't give a shit about grass.
You know what we've been doing? Clover.
Fine, but here's my point. If you just let your yard grow and don't try to seed grass and then here's the other thing, and this is the other crazy part. This is why it's psychotic. Not only are you maintaining and trying to keep this thing alive, this grass, like if you're in some parts of Arizona, they have grass. Grass has no business being in Arizona, and yet,
God.
like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? And then here's the thing. You got to keep the grass alive. You got to water the grass. You got to hire someone to cut your grass. There's a whole industry.
There's a whole industry. Feels like a holdover.
You spend hours. People spend hours and hours and hours of their life,
life force right now is burned.
But like, Louie, think about that. Think about people get home from work. You could be writing a book. You could be playing music. You could be doing a million things. But you know what? You're like, shit, I gotta cut the grass. Why? Why do you have to cut the grass? Just let it fucking grow. Let it grow.
I feel like grass is the bar though for these people. Like I feel like you're assuming too much for them. Like these people are not going to be Stephen King. They're not going to be. You're not going to get some masterpiece at it. Like that green grass. That's their achievement. I think that's what it is.
But here's what's crazy about it. Here's the other thing too. It's not just about what you think. It's about what everybody who lives around you thinks. So it's like, if my grass is not uniform to your grass, then I'm going to feel self-conscious. So I have to motivate myself to go and cut this grass. And I got to go to the store. I got to buy weed killer. You know, what is weed? What is the word weed? It's like what Shakespeare says about a rose, but what is a rose but any other name? It's the same thing. A weed is designated a weed because it hurts the grass. So this invasive piece of shit grass, freeloading fucking grass that relies on subsidies.
And I think a lot of dumb shit is dying with the people that prop them up. Like they blame us for a ton of shit. They blame millennials for a ton of shit.
Yeah,
like of the engagement ring industry,
and then we fucking complained that we were the complaining generation. We complained because we got the shit into the stick. But the reality is, let me tell you something too. My dad, he used to always fucking make me mow the fucking lawn, and I hated that shit. I was like, why? I think about all the fucking time that I wasted mowing that fucking lawn when I could have been doing other things. And you know what I realized? It's a ritual that is a waste of time. It harms the environment. It's fucking stupid.
Let me give you a TikTok clip. Turn on the TikTok camera right now. We are dealing with the fallout of leaded gasoline. We as adults, because they didn't get it out of gas until 1972, right in the prime development of a lot of boomers. I feel like we're still, as millennials, having to pick up the pieces of that. Like, you talk to anybody that works in customer service, and who are the most problematic people that they have to deal with? It's the same people that give a shit about a green lawn. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like leaded gasoline burned away the ability to empathize with nature and human beings.
But they say that's a weed. See that dandelion? Dandelions are like fucking medicinal. The dandelions do all sorts of good shit. You know what people will tell you?
My friend, we could go
dandelions
down
a rabbit hole. Dandelions are weeds. They have to be fucking mowed down. They have to be cut.
Clovers,
right?
We've been planting clovers. You don't have to mow them. The bees love them. You know, they don't need a ton of water. It's crazy. I feel like our generation and Gen Z as well, we're the generations of undoing. Like we're slowly picking apart all of these wasteful, inefficient traditions. Do you know why? Okay.
Including the 9 to 5 job. The 9 to 5 job.
Heck yeah, working in an office.
Yeah.
Do you know why? But let's go even simpler. Do you know why you don't put your elbows on the table?
Because it's bad manners. Because that's what we're taught.
But do you know where it started? The tables, when that was a thing, didn't have legs. They had a center post.
Right.
If you put your elbows on the table,
you
would tip the table.
Tip the table.
That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not bad manners for any other reason other than because. Like as an adult, post probably 23, I stopped doing anything just because. I reevaluate everything that was fed to me because most of it was white propaganda. You have to unlearn so much as a millennial and other generations, but just speaking for us.
Yeah.
We're taught so many things that weren't fucking true. You don't need all these things. You don't need a green grass. You don't need all of this. You don't need to be shitty to the customer service people because they work for you. They don't work for you. They're trapped there. They are your hostage for the limited experience. They are perceiving you and you are perceiving them against their will for financial gain, for financial survival.
But you know what happens, Louie, if you stop mowing the lawn? You know what happens? If you stop mowing the lawn, weeds grow. The weeds, they're not weeds at all. They're the natural plants. When the natural plants come back, then the bees can pollinate. Then all the little rodents that indigenously live, they get to, they're happy. Everybody's happy. And you know what the best part is? You don't have to mow the lawn. I got to tell you, I own a house, okay? And we got a lawnmower when we first moved in, and I mowed the lawn for about 6 weeks. And then one day I was mowing the lawn and I said, what the fuck am I mowing this lawn for? And that was the last time I ever mowed a lawn. I have not mowed the lawn since. I refuse to do it. I fight with my wife about this. Sometimes she mows the lawn. Sometimes she hires a gardener to mow the lawn. And I fight her tooth and nail over it because I say, I don't want the lawn mowed anymore. I don't want it.
You're a brave man. I've met your wife.
Yeah.
I believe that she could beat you in a fight.
She probably could. But the point is,
I believe that she could beat me in a fight.
Well, I would never try to fight her, so it would never happen. But I have definitely tried to wrestle her, and she's very strong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I agree, man. Yeah. You know, in Austin, we have like this. You can get like native garden designations where you can basically just plant. Like my partner's sister, Christina, that's what she's doing to her lawn. She's planting clovers and native Texas plants that are way more water hardy. Exactly, a natural yard.
Right.
She doesn't have to mow it. She doesn't have to do meticulous care. It looks so much better.
So much better.
So much better. It's like
because you can't if you don't have the money and the resources and the time to keep up with what a green grass lawn demands.
Does the best green grass look that good? It's like, oh, cool, a blank canvas.
I'm not going to lie. There's one benefit to green grass. Now I'm going to sound like a contrarian because I will say there's one thing that's great about green grass, and it's this. When your grass is really healthy and thick and nice, it's really nice to just lie in the grass and stare at a blue sky. That's a nice thing to do. However, you can get a hammock, and hammocks are way better than green grass. That's number one. Number two, if you don't keep up with the upkeep, if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the time, your lawn is going to have brown spots. And so therefore you're going to have anxiety about why. Think about all the problems you're creating for yourself. Oh my God, the lawn doesn't look good. I have to keep up with this. That's like, why?
Right.
Who fucking instilled this in us?
And forget it, like
fuck.
You need something that's going to last as long as Riot stickers, vinyl stickers, 7 cents a piece.
That's right. Riotstickers.com. Always be plugging. Always be plugging.
Well, my friend.
Yeah, it's about that time. And before we go, you need to think of a trivia question because we have to give away a t-shirt comp. So yeah,
gladly.
That has to happen.
Is there
wait. Hold on. Let me read the rules one more time. I'm going to be doing a live show every single day. I'm going to be giving away a t-shirt. At the end of every episode, I will ask my trivia question. You will send your answer to FrumessMAIL@gmail.com, and the first person to answer correctly will be the winner. You give me your name, your address, and your t-shirt size. If you are outside of the continental United States, you will have to cover shipping and handling. Join us night after night where I will be doing t-shirt giveaways. Who doesn't like a free t-shirt? I'm not going to go easy on any of you. I'm going to ask really hard questions. So be prepared. Okay, now go ahead.
I got a potentially hard question.
Is it something that people can search on the internet? Because that's a thing. You're allowed to search on the internet.
It
You
is.
just got to be the first. Okay,
It's
good.
not going to be easy. It's not going to be an
That's fine.
easy search.
That's fine.
So, what movie did Ben Affleck star in the early 90s?
I already know the answer.
I know. Most people that are film nerds like you, they'll get it immediately and they'll love it because it's a great piece of trivia. But what movie did Ben Affleck star in where he wasn't the star? Let's see.
I don't like the way you're phrasing this question.
Let me see if I can phrase it. What movie did Ben Affleck
I have this problem every time I do the trivia question. I have the same problem, Louie.
What movie did Ben Affleck appear in without a speaking role in the early 90s?
So, what do you don't know the?
Oh, with Paul Rubens. I'll give that. What movie did Ben Affleck appear in with Paul Rubens where he had no lines?
Now I definitely know what it is. 150%.
Right, but even saying Paul Rubens is pretty.
That was a good hint because it allows you to search on the internet, but you do have to do a little bit of homework in order to find out what it is. But
I would say it's not a famous,
it's incredibly famous.
It is, but not to the
it spawned a whole fucking,
No, but I'm saying his role.
Oh, who Paul Rubens' role, or that is a beloved. In fact, when he passed,
people that love that movie, but I'm saying in terms of his career.
Yeah. Oh, it's a minor role,
right,
compared to what he's known for sure.
Right. So I think
no, it was good. I love that question. I love that you just pulled that out of nowhere, and I really would like to get you on a more movie centric show where we could talk movies, because I think that's where you're really like built for, and that would be really fun.
Listen, if you want to do a podcast that details the greatest cinematic movie of all time, we can do that.
What, Predator 2?
See, I didn't even have to say it.
Only can we get Danielle has to be on it too. We'll get Danielle. Okay.
I'm going to talk to her in like 10 minutes when I sign on.
Tell Danielle that she is cordially invited on my show. We could do it. We could do it next week if everybody's open.
She has an iPhone 7, so we're going to have to figure out a way to get online.
Yeah, that's going to be, and she lives in like Pennsylvania, where I don't know what her reception's like out there.
Lancaster, Amish country.
She's like, she's in, as a matter of fact,
the internet goes through yarn.
She grew up with a fellow filmmaking friend of mine, Mike Lombardo, who I met at a film festival. And then we realized, I forgot how we found that out. I think Danielle actually, whatever. It was interesting footnote though. I was like, whoa.
Music videos.
She was what?
She was in one of his music videos.
Oh, she was. Oh, so you know Mike Lombardo?
No, she told me the story.
Oh, okay. All right. This is the end of the show. I want to thank Louie so much for coming on. It's so good to see him and talk with him. And we'll be back with a discussion about Predator 2. This is absolutely happening. And you know what we'll do? Let's start a group text over it.
Just because we talked about it, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to go after this gets done. I'm going to watch Predator 2.
Please. I just watched it very recently. It's very fresh in my mind.
Want some candy?
I was going to say, are you on WhatsApp?
What? No.
Why don't you? No, I was just saying we could get a group chat started and get like the coordinate. Yeah.
I'm on Discord, bro.
I don't know what Discord is. I've never used it.
What?
I don't have a Discord. I do. That's not true. I signed up, but I've never used Discord. Wait, so can you create a Discord room where like the three of us can like talk and chat and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Is that possible? Can we do that?
Yeah. Danielle actually has a Discord. I think her Discord's like Kathleen from accounting.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't want to like intrude on her Discord. I'm just talking about a space where the three of us can talk.
Yeah, but she has a Discord account.
Oh, okay. Okay. But so she uses Discord regularly. You use Discord regularly? Like that's your regular means of
for a lot of my video game friends. That's how we communicate.
Yeah,
We are Minnesota goodbying these poor people.
but hold on a sec. I don't even know what that means. What's a Minnesota goodbye?
It's when you say goodbye and then you talk to the person for another 45 minutes.
Oh,
It's like a Midwestern thing.
You know who else I want to have on my show? We keep talking about it. Jocelyn. I really want to have Jocelyn on the show because that would be fun.
Yeah, she would love that.
I'm sure she would. I'm sure you talked to Jocelyn. When was the last time you talked to Jocelyn? Long time.
When was the last time Obama's first presidency was?
That's been a minute. That's been a minute. All right. I'd like to thank Lou. Lou, hold on one second. We're gonna say goodbye. Peace, hair grease. We'll see you next.